think you were right about it, because we are facing difficulties as startups, and one of the top reasons why it happens is because we are unable to get the funding initiative move forward, and we are struggling every day with bootstrapping. This is the fundamental part about startup businesses.
It is. I was going to say, I can fully agree with you. I can imagine how that's a huge issue. But I think if I go one step before that, is an interesting concept is for any startup to be able to tell a compelling story. Because the thing about when you're starting up is even before you can ask for funding, you need to be able to convince people around you about the viability of your idea. You need to be able to get people to buy into your vision. Because the people who want to start, the ones who have the visions, the visionaries, they can imagine this product, imagine what they can create. And you need to be able to get people on board with that. Not just to agree, but you need to get enough people to fall in love with the idea. And that's an amazingly, well, it's a very special skill to be able to get people infected with your passion. And of course, there has to be some substance, there have to be some numbers to back it. But if you think about some of the things that we take for granted, in the beginning, before they could become products, somebody had to get excited about the idea, or else it would never have gone anywhere. So even before we get blocked to the funding stage, what I would say to anybody who's in a startup position or preparing into a startup is, how are you able to get the passion that you have for your vision? And there's a skill to that. There's a skill to being able to get people involved in the story of what you want to create and to buy into that. I mean, if you think about it, the product, in the swimming pool, you sometimes have these like floating tubes, they call the pool noodles. They're usually like either pink or purple or yellow or something, and it's just a foam tube that people float on. Can you imagine that in the beginning? I mean, just imagine to yourself, before this existed, somebody came up with an idea one day and said, I'm going to make this thing, a foam that's like in a long roll. Imagine. That doesn't sound like an idea.
Right, but it worked.
Somebody is a millionaire or a multi-millionaire because of that. The millions, it's laughable. And yet, not only did one person think of it, but they were able to get people on board. That could probably work. Let's do it. Simple or crazy or your idea is, or how fancy your idea is, you've got to get at least one or two other people besides you to say, you know what, I think you've got something there. Of course, to be able to have some substance and some facts and some figures that you can create a business case, you've got to get people excited enough that they're willing to spend money or to invest their money in helping you to make that happen.
You're right. So tell us, were you able to seek any investment funding for your business, or you all bootstrap?
We bootstrap.
Okay. Are you going to attempt to do that in the future?
Not at this stage. I mean, my business is not one that really requires investment. It's not equipment that we're investing in. It's not major equipment. It's not major premises. So we don't really need a major investment in that type of projects that would require greater resources. Projects should fund. The type of business that I have is one that if we can scale up and we can scale down depending on the economic situation.
Understood. But you have a B2B business.
We have a B2B.
A
little bit of B2C as well.
Right. This is when you're serving other businesses. When a business serves another business is B2B. That area will cover a lot of loophole, which is that you will have a large stock of businesses in your portfolio if businesses start flocking to you. Have you looked at
the businesses are flocking, but the reality is everyone has to go and earn your client's attention.
Have you looked at the SaaS model?
You mean the software as a service? What do you mean by SaaS model?
Okay. If you search it on your internet, you will find SaaS is just like an organization where they have a model where they serve mostly business to business, and they will show you how you can grow your company into multi-million-dollar industry.
Okay.
So that SaaS.
I'll just take a look at it now. mean, when I'm familiar with SaaS as a software.
Yes, you will find it very educating, and you might get some answers to your company. If you have a lucrative business, a boutique business consultant agency is just as good as an internet software company. It's all your work is done online.
Yes, SaaS is something I'm quite familiar with. We are quite active in the digital transformation space, and we work with some global players who are in the business of having SaaS products. We're quite familiar with, and it is for scaling businesses.
So in all, rounding out, you have created a great opportunity for corporations and clients as a consultant. You've been doing it for 2 years, and you do 2 sets package, which is a value-based and a service-based. Mm-hmm. With that, it is a great opportunity for individual corporations to take advantage over your consultancy because you have a model that works. Going forward, what would you wish you've known before you started your career?
What would I have wished to have known before? I think I would have wished to have known about the need for resilience.
You said resilience?
Resilience, yes. Okay. Because, and the reason I say it is that things, happen within a time frame that you cannot always control. And you need to be, as a person growing a business, you need to be prepared to put in a lot of hours. You need to put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make your business grow. And I think that everybody is prepared for that. I was a little unprepared initially to realize how long the blood, sweat, and tears phase has to go on. So, I know it's a cliche, but it's the difference between a sprint and a marathon. It's not to say that when you are ready to open your doors for business that everyone will be meeting outside. Really focus on your marketing. You need to focus on your, finding clients. You need to really be building your client relationships. And that's not going to be for just the first 2 months, 3 months, 12 months, or even necessarily 2 years. It's really a long-term activity, and you need to have good energy levels to do that. So part of resilience is looking after yourself, your physical health. All the things that sound cliched are absolutely important. Eat, your nutrition, your physical health, your exercise. You need to be able to pace yourself, but be prepared that it's going to be a long ride. Before you start seeing success, it doesn't happen overnight. And, you may have heard it said that most overnight successes, you hear about these businesses that are an overnight success. Well, what nobody sees is how it took them 12 years to become an overnight success, or 5 years, or 3 years, whatever it may have been. So I think to prepare myself, for the long haul, because it's a lot of work and it's over a long period of time. So just make sure you've got the right mindset and you've got the right energy, you've got the right resources, and go for it, because it's wonderful when you do it. It's absolutely wonderful when you do it. I wouldn't change my decision of several years ago to have taken this path. But I think actually, when I say I wish I had known it, I must have listened to myself at the start, or if I would have fully appreciated what it meant. Because, but yeah, just be prepared that it's going to be tough, but it's also going to be wonderful. So there are some amazing rewards that are involved. I don't want to sound negative about it, but just be prepared that it's going to take a lot. And, there's a lot of commitment and a lot of hard work. It's not going to come easily.
And I understand. Well, Brigitte, it's been a wonderful time spending with you. I know the audience is going to learn a lot from you and your business. We have about 3 questions before we close. Are you ready for it?
Go for it.
What is the best resource that helped you along the way?
The best resource is having a mentor or a coach that I could draw upon, because there is no way that anybody can do this by themselves. And you need to have someone who you trust and someone who has experience and expertise in building businesses to guide you.
Agreed.
Something that is super, super, super important.
Agreed. What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Let's see. What advice I would say, the first thing is, like I said, make sure that you have someone who can guide you. And when I say this, and I don't mean any disrespect, but usually it's not a friend and it's not a family member, okay? Because, get somebody who is completely independent, completely objective, and who has the qualifications and experience to be able to guide you. And the reason I say it is that unless your friend or family member member has grown, they may not have the experience or expertise that you need. Secondly, their opinion is not objective. They their emotions come into it, and other interests come into it as well. So it's not necessarily clean advice. And it's hard to deal with that, because in the beginning, a lot of people want to give you advice, and by people who you respect for other reasons. And it all comes from a wonderful place. It comes from great intentions, but great intentions doesn't mean that it's necessarily the best advice for you. So go out and get yourself a qualified, competent, result-proven business coach or guide or mentor. But someone tells you that they have done something that can show you what they've done, verifiable results. So that's one piece of advice. That's a very strong one. Did you ask me for one or three pieces of advice?
One was the last one, which is the best one coming. Okay. But I couldn't agree more with answer to the second question. So the third question is, do you think that you were born for a reason?
I was born for a reason. Definitely yes. Well, I wouldn't like to think of the opposite. Let me be a bit more serious. I do think that I was born for a reason. I think that the reason is not necessarily completely clear to me, but I know that me being here makes a difference in people's lives. And I know based on relationships that I've had, and I know, and when I say relationships, I mean all types of relationships, but I know, and I've been lucky enough to have had people in my life who have stepped forward and said to me, I appreciate you because of this, or this is the difference you've made in my life. And some of the times, the things that people tell me, or the examples they give, or the moments they shared that was a turning point for them, or a critical moment in their life, was something for me that was insignificant, or even I didn't even pay attention to it too much at that moment. And not because it wasn't important, but because maybe I didn't appreciate the significance of that. So sometimes, for example, there is somebody who we started off as colleagues in South Africa, probably, that would have been around 2002, 2003. She came into my life actually because I hired her to join my team in South Africa, and was in my team. I was her boss for several years. Then I moved on, and I always remained a mentor to her as her career progressed, my career progressed, and today we're still pretty good friends. And one day we were having a pretty heart-to-heart conversation, and she said to me, I want to share with you, at that time in my life we had that particular conversation, and you said, and this is what changed in my world because of it. And I was really shocked, because I remember the conversation she spoke about, and yes, I remember the thing that I had said to her, but I didn't realize in that moment the magnitude of what was happening in that conversation. And I think this happens for almost everybody. Nobody knows what happens in everybody else's world. And we're not always aware of the impact that our thoughts and our actions have on people. So sometimes just the smallest kindness, just the smallest courtesy that you do for somebody else. It could be just the fact that in the grocery line you say to somebody, please go ahead, I can see that, you might be in a hurry. That one simple act of kindness, that might be the whole world to somebody else, because they might be living with or struggling with, unimaginable difficulties, and that one simple gesture of kindness could change everything for them. And I think that I've been fortunate enough that several people have shared with me how, in different situations and contexts, I have played that role for them. And I know that the day that I leave this earth, I know that I can look back and say that because of something somewhere along the way, somebody else's life was better, even if it was just for a moment. And I think that's the reason that everybody is put on this earth, is to make someone else's life better, even just for one moment in just one way.
Well said, Brigitte Lawler. Well, Ms. Lawler, this is a great interview. I really liked having you in the future when business grows.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate the invitation, and it's been my pleasure to be with you.
Yes, and people, we have Brigitte Lawler. She's the owner of the Boutique Business Consultant Agency. The way to find her on her website, which is www.legend.eu. com. And
yes.
Brigitte, can you say any other ways that audience can get in touch with you?
I think a great way would be on social media, so especially LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you could find me if you just make sure you have the spelling right of my name. It's Brigitte Lawler, and you find me on LinkedIn, and I think that's a great way to connect, or on the website. And maybe just one small thing I'd like to mention is that my business is called Legend, and the reason I chose the name Legend is because I knew that whatever we do in our business and whatever clients we work with, we want to help you become a legend in your own right. So we're looking to help people to grow themselves, to grow their business, to be the superstars that they were born to be. Contact us on Legend. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Listen.
Yes. So best to find us is Legend. That's www.legend.eu.com, or find me on LinkedIn.
Oh, Brigitte, this was great. I really enjoyed talking to you. And best of luck and success.
Well, thank you very much, and the best of success to you as well, and to all your audience listeners. And I would be absolutely delighted to hear from any of the audience. If anybody does reach out to me, just mention that you came into contact with me through this, and I will very happily have a free consultation with anybody about their particular business project or what they're trying to grow. We can set up a 30-minute session and advice or pointers or guidance advice that will set you on the right path.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a great coupon right there. You will probably be met with several people trying to get in touch with you in that regard. So I appreciate that. I'll put it in the show notes. All right. Thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure. I wish you a wonderful day ahead.
Thanks again.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. This was Brigitte Lawler, everyone, a champion in building small businesses. If you are interested in getting business consultant or some mentorship, your guaranteed free half-hour consultation is IBornStudio. So don't hesitate to reach out to her or contact me via IBornStudio.org. On behalf of all the listeners of this episode, number 16, your free 30-minute is reserved. Thank you for listening to the IBornStudio Podcast Show with your host, Alex. If you like our show, give us a review. We want to thank our sponsor, Free Conference Call Service, who made it possible for this interview. You can contact us via IBornStudio.org or support us on anchor.fm/IBornStudio. Thank you all for the great reviews.